Good evening. It's been a while, but we are back for TML F2. It is Season 9. It's round 10 of the championship as we take on the Brazilian Grand Prix from, of course, the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, otherwise known, of course, as the Autodromo de Interlagos. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking to the stream, of course, as always, on this fine Friday evening, back after a week's layoff due to covering WRT 1. And joining me in the commentary box, as always, on a Friday night, it is Mr. Everbrin Mike. Mike, how you doing?
I am doing great. Obviously, a big night here tonight. Potentially both championships could be wrapped up here.
Definitely so, and it's going to be very, very interesting indeed. And Yoram, of course, did take the race win out on track. Yoram, however, had a 3-second penalty applied to him after DNFing, of course, in America. That 3-second penalty was actually moving across into the braking zone on Yellow Geeson, I believe, and obviously weaving and Yellow Geeson diving it down the inside line. Yellow, of course, got a 5-second penalty as a result of that incident in America. So Yoram's 3-second penalty, because he won and he finished the race, therefore gets applied, and he finished there down in 4th position in the end after that penalty, of course, was applied. What did that do to the championship standings? Well, Yellow Geeson leads the way on 214 points, down there in second on 176, Charlie in third on 162, with Siege in fourth on 139, tied with Legend also on 139, Parody in sixth on 132, Dylan McGivern, supposed to be Dylan McGivern in the app, in 7th on 130, Yoram in 8th on 107, Great Elmo in 9th on 81, and Roy got in 10th on 72 points. And Mike, 38-point advantage for Yellow Geeson coming in tonight. Dan is missing tonight, I believe. Oh, Dan is actually here, sorry. Dan, I thought was missing. He's not. It's Dylan McGivern that's the one that's missing. So Dan is actually here to try and fight Yellow Geeson in terms of Brazil. Are we going to see a Hamilton-Verstappen-esque battle around here?
I mean, what Dan needs here tonight is an absolute miracle. He needs Yellow Geeson to have a similar sort of race as what Dan had last week, because we saw last week Dan had every problem under the sun at Monza, and it's extended this gap. He needs Yellow Geeson to have that kind of race here at Sao Paulo.
Yeah, I'm just going through the mental calculations in my head, and Yellow Geeson, what he basically needs to do is outscore Dan by as many points. If they stay level on points and Charlie turns and wins the race, Charlie would then be in title contention going into the final week, of course, in Abu Dhabi, I think is the final race, if I'm not mistaken. Yellow Geeson... Saudi Arabia?
Saudi Arabia. I thought it was.
Is it Bahrain? I don't know. I'm going to have a look at the calendar. I'm completely confused. You can tell I've been away for an absolute while. I don't even know the own calendar for TML. It is Bahrain. You are completely correct. It is Bahrain, which of course is next week. Goodness me. But yeah, Bahrain should be a very interesting finale. And looking, of course, to wrap up the championship is Yellow Geeson tonight. As I say, if he outscores Dan tonight, and he outscores Charlie as well, that is him wrapping up the title tonight. However, Dan, I believe, can pick up P1 and the fastest lap, which will be 31 points, and Yellow Geeson can finish second, and then there'll be 30 points going into, or 32 points, I should say, going into the final round. In fact, no, that will not be enough, because the fastest lap point is only 1 point instead of 2, so therefore, Dan needs to win, and Yellow Geeson can finish third for Dan to be in title contention going into next week.
Yeah, Yellow Geeson, all he needs to do is finish second here tonight, and given his performance so far this season, he's looked completely championship worthy, and not much in terms of mistakes and that throughout the course of the season. He's picked up the points where he's needed, he's been consistent when others haven't, and I do think that he can get on that podium here tonight.
Yeah, definitely so, and it does come down to consistency, of course, here at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. Sidegate is the first one, just starting up on a lap of 16.8 through the first sector, not too bad at all. Locks up in towards Descida de Lago at turn number 4, then up the hill through turn number 5 in towards Ferradura at turn number 6, and then in towards Laranha, which is at the top of the hill, coming through turn number 8, pretty much the highest point on the track actually around here in Interlagos. Free practice 1, I believe, is also on for Formula E in Sao Paulo, so we are taking in double Brazilian action tonight, that is for sure. Sygate, though, coming in toward the right-hander of turn number 10, and then into the left-hander of turn number 11, in towards Junsao. Kimi Raikkonen in the Lotus, famously getting lost there in 2012, down the, was a Red Bull sprint actually in front of Sygate there, through the middle sector. Sygate to middle sector was looking pretty decent as he now comes through the left-hander of the Cedar Dust boxes, on the run down towards 10.15 and on the run toward the line. It should be around a 108.9, I think, to begin off the night. 108.6. I doubt him sometimes, but 108.6 there for Sygate to start us off. Yoram on a lap as well has just started. Preb coming through the middle sector, I believe, is on a one in the middle. Charlie goes quickest on a set of mediums. Wow.
Charlie absolutely flying on that set of yellow wall compound tyres, and he is definitely putting down a benchmark early on a set of mediums.
He is. He's looking pretty quick, I've got to say. Compared to Prep there, 109 flat, a very good lap time from him. Dan, however, is purple in the middle sector. 51.3 coming out through the final couple of corners. This is where we should see now the real lap times coming in. Dan to the line, goes quickest, 107.8. It's not really much of a change from a set of mediums to a set of soft compound tyres. Charlie can gain around 8 tenths per second on average in terms of his fast lap. So, if you look at that and look at the theory, it's going to be around a 107.6 or 107.5 potentially. He's going to improve. Atlas Copper also opting for a set of medium compound and size, so he clearly wants to keep as Yoram now goes quickest for the 107.6. A great lap from him there. Parody as well is on the run to the line with a 51.4 in the middle sector on the run to the line, and he goes into third. So currently McLaren 1-3, like they were pretty much in Monza last week as well. Yoram out on top, Dan in second, Parody there in third. Yellow Geeson, interestingly, still in the pit lane. He did say in the comment section he was taking it easy. Hopefully he doesn't take it too easy.
I wonder if he's going to potentially try a last question mark challenge here.
Why would he though? He can wrap up the championship this week.
I don't know. Yeah, he's potentially maybe thinking of that, but hopefully he doesn't, because the championship can be wrapped up here. But bracket rights would be there for Yellow Geeson if he does a last question mark and still wins the championship.
And Yellow Geeson actually is just further to the point, saying, first of all, don't think I'll be finishing top 3 on this one. I calculated 2 times P8 is enough for me to wrap it up. It's not. It is not. Dan, at the minute, if Dan wins, let's just put it this way, if Dan wins and Yellow Geeson's an 8th, mathematically it is not done. 31 points will be available going into the final round. So Yellow Geeson can't really afford to give Dan any leeway, I think, in terms of this qualifying session. And him currently down in 14th, Dan up in 2nd. That is not going to fill the Dutchman, I've got to say, with a lot of confidence there down in 14th.
Nah, it's not, but he has still got to go out on track and get a lap on the board. Whether you'll leave it to the last dying embers of the session, that remains to be seen. If he does, he'll have plenty of soft tyres for the race.
Yeah, definitely so. The OWL man of Ronnie there going 8th as well behind Preb, about a 10th of a second off his teammate there, with Roy God also in 6th position, just around 1200 quicker than him. Sygate has now opted to go onto another set of soft compound tyres. One thing I actually noticed with Sygate, he was using an ERS coming up the hill through Junsao and then through Sabida Dos boxes at turn number 13, and that gave him a bit of a disadvantage going on to his laps. I wonder if he'll keep all of his ERS this time and then apply it, of course, down in towards turn number 1. He potentially could do. Otherwise, I'm just absolutely stupid and literally thinking from a driver's eye, what would I do at this stage? I would probably use it coming out of turn 13 on the run to the line just to save a bit of ERS. But now Sygate, now on the throttle, using up that ERS, so clearly he wants to try and go for the run coming out of turn number 12. And just comes to show why I'm in the commentary box as well.
Yeah, the run out of turn number 12, obviously ERS flowing definitely gives him a higher top speed coming in towards turn 1, so he can definitely gain a bit of time there. But turn 1 is where his win and loss for the Senna S is. You can validate very easily there, but Sygate does very well so far. And the first sector split, let's have a look and see, and he's half a tenth down.
Here's half a tenth down. That was a much neater turn number 4 though, down Cedar del Lago and towards turn number 4. Actually, it's the Cedar del Lago through turn number 4. Now towards Ferradura at turn number 6. Sorry, not Glock. Truly, Alonso and Piquet, I think, famously crashed here in 2009 in the Jonathan Lagarde BBC F1 days. Yoram out on top from Dan in second, Paddy there currently in third. As Sygate now comes in toward the right-hander of turn number 10 at Laranja, and then coming through the left-hander of turn number 11 in towards Junsao at turn number 12, and this has looked a much neater lap actually from Saigate. He's 200s down. Apparently it's showing purple in the middle sector. That is quicker than his first lap, I think. That's what it's indicating. A 108.6. He can gain all the time now. Are the AlphaTauris though missing the trick? He's the sole AlphaTauri. Is he missing the trick by not picking up any slipstream from anyone else? The Saigate down to the line does go quicker. 500th improvement there from Saigate. That looks a much neater lap, I've got to say, from the Dutchman's perspective there in 5th. Joram is about to start a lap as well. And Tam has said in the comment section as well, he's seen a 107.3 from this man, so I think we're going to be watching on board with him quite a lot. As Legend, by the way, on 5 lap will set us off compound tyres, a 110.5. He clearly has not been practicing for tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and Legend has been doing this quite a lot recently, where he stuck 6 on the set of his first tyre comp, and he just does lap after lap after lap, trying to build the confidence up later on in the session. He should be up there.
And picking up there in the first sector, 16.6 from Joram. Nice, he negotiates turn number 4, through now turn number 5, and then up the hill and towards turn number 6. And he has got a Red Bull just ahead of him out on track, getting out of the way to the left-hand side. I think that is Preb just backing off on a down lap as Atlas Copel goes 4th on a set of soft compound and tyres. Oh, as Joram has a huge mistake there. Coming out of turn number 7, just about kept the car in a straight line, but that lap is buggered.
Well, I'm currently on board with Dan. He was about 800s up in sector 1. Obviously in the middle sector now. He's behind Yaham. I think Yaham has backed off his lap. And Dan will be the next one to keep an eye on. Yeah,
Dan indeed, the Ellery man coming through the right hand at turn number 10 in towards the end of the middle sector, coming through turn 11 and then through Junsao at turn number 12, and he's a 10th up in the middle sector, purple on my screen at least, but he still needs to find another 10th and a half to go quick, as he has got, actually, Joram, maybe giving him a cheeky bit of slipstream running down the straight. He is slowing down Joram a little bit in front, just preparing up for his lap. As Dan now on the run to the line, doesn't go quickest, and in the end, didn't find the time coming out through the final couple of corners. Yellow Geeson there still saying in the chat, the current difference is 38 minus 31 is 7, plus 12 points for P8 is 19. That is very true indeed, but it's still mathematically possible. As I say, Dan, if he wins, Yellow Geeson can finish 3rd, and that will still be mathematical contention going into the final round of the championship.
Proudy around turn 1. He just got a little bit too much onto that inside curve of turn 1, and he's lost the car. And that's the danger of this track, especially for the center S's.
Kazuki Nakajima style in 2008, I think, spinning that at turn number 1 by himself and then collecting David Coulthard, of course, famously in that race. If you haven't watched Formula 1 back in the 2008 days, where were you? Was Preb has had a 5-second penalty for a collision with Siege, and that is coming through turn number 12 at Junsao.
And I wonder if Siege has been given a penalty as well, because sometimes the game does give us both drivers a 5-place good job. Charlie on a flying lap, he's just under 4 tenths down, coming through turn 12, now climbing up the hill, and we're going to see if he can get himself ahead of Proudy. It's looking like it's on course to be ahead of Proudy, but let's see. He crosses the line, and he's just in behind.
4th, and he set a blistering middle sector as well. I think it was a 51.6 in the middle sector, which was only a couple of tenths off what Joram was setting in that middle sector. But 4th, behind Proudy, 108 flat. I'm a little bit underwhelmed, actually, from Charlie so far.
Yeah, Ronnie with a big improvement, gets himself up into the 6th place. An 8.466 from the Red Bull driver, the OWR driver, and he's right behind his OWR compatriot in Atlas Copel now.
Siege, by the way, didn't pick up any front wing damage on that car. I think it was just a pure run-in towards turn number 12. Sadly, Preb did pick up that 5-second penalty. Siege, by the way, 51.8 in the middle sector. It's about 2 tenths off Charlie, so it should be going around Atlas Copel. Ronnie, probably in between both of them, I would say. Maybe even behind Ronnie, down there in 7th position it would be. As now Siege, comes toward the line. Is he going to go right in between them? No, just shy of Ronnie. 300ths of a second. 33 hundredths of a second to be exact. Ronnie there in 6th, Siege there in 7th, it's Yoram on top, Dan in 2nd, from Paddy in 3rd, Charlie in 4th, and Atlas Copel there in 5th. He's just pairing up for an outlap at this stage as well, coming through the final couple of corners. Saigate on a lap as well, 69 in the first sector. He's Addison compared to everyone else on a lap so far, but the AlphaTauri man now coming through the left-hander of 11 into the left-hander of turn number 12. Preber's retired from the session in the pit lane, and Saigate's 200s up.
Yep. Sergate improving on his lap time. I'm currently on board with Atlas Copo as he's just started his lap, so I'll let you know his update in Sector 1.
Sergate's just drigged me back into the pit lane. Terrible.
Disgraceful behaviour. 700 is the time that Atlas Copo is up in the first sector as he comes through the middle sector now. Big opportunity for Atlas Copo to potentially get himself up there with Powdy and Charlie.
Now he's actually on the throttle coming out of turn number 7 as well, just noticing. Oh, and speaking of which, commentators curse. It'd have to happen to somebody. Atlas Copo spins coming out of turn number 8, exactly where Yoram had spun. Luckily, Yoram had actually kept it out the wall. Atlas Copo, right side end plate damage, you can clearly see on the car there coming through camera shot. And I was about to say, it was lovely throttle coming out of turn number 7, but what that could have done is actually put him off camber coming through turn number 8, and that's exactly what happened. He just applied too much throttle on the exit of the curb, and therefore spun the car around, and Atlas Copo there down and fit. Has still got another run, potentially actually another 2 runs, actually, to still stay out on track and obviously go for another run when he obviously comes back into the pit lane. Yellow out on top, Dan in second, Powdy there in third. Yellow Geese, and you might be right, Mike, might be going for that last question mark challenge down in 14th, which, if I was in championship leading position, I wouldn't be doing right now. I'd try to put the pressure completely off my title rival.
Well, it's not just the driver, it's also constructors as well. Cause, we know the constructors could be wrapped up here tonight, but obviously with Dylan not here, makes it a little bit harder for Yellow Geeson, who's just coming out of the pits now, so he is coming out.
He must have heard me. He must have heard me. It's good that he's actually out there. Legend, by the way, I think... Oh, sorry, the other Alpine of Roygor had spun, coming out of turn number 11. Oh, and he's gone for another spin, coming out through Junsao at turn number 12. Clearly not liking that sort of soft compound tyres, and that is how you not prepare for a lap around here in Brazil. Powdy was, I think, just starting up on a lap, or somebody was starting up on a lap. I think it might have been Roygor. But Powdy was, I think, going to go for an outlap and then decided to come back in the pit lane, maybe just to save the tyres a little bit, maybe just for the track evolution to gain a couple of tenths of a second. So Powdy there down in third. Yoram out on top, down in second, 107.6. If Tam was mentioning a 107.3, we expect that now from Yoram, as Roygor, I think, has spun once again coming through the middle sector, unless that's Yellow Geeson just starting up on an outlap. In fact, Yellow Geeson, speaking of the man, is on the run down towards turn number 1, and they're trying to ball with the championship leader.
Yeah, good through turn number 1, takes quite a lot of the inside curve there, and that obviously would potentially could have compromised him just a little bit through turns 2 and 3, but we're going to see what the first sector split is, and it's a 16.7 first sector.
Yeah, about a tenth off Yoram, I think, through the first sector. So Yellow Geese are not looking too bad. Nice coming out of turn number 4, though, in towards the right-hand with turn number 6 now up the hill. He misses the curve there slightly, but unlike Atlas Copo coming through turn number 7, Atlas Copo 108.3, you've really got to get on the throttle coming out of that corner, and Yellow Geeson has managed that to perfection. Nicely done coming out of turn number 9, into the right-hander now of turn number 10, and now towards the end of the middle sector. And Yellow Geeson not going to be as quick as Yoram, I don't think, with this middle sector. His middle sector split, actually, is a 51.3, so he's actually beating Yoram in that middle sector. So what am I even on about? Is Yellow Geeson now comes up the hill into the final couple of corners, through the speed of those boxes at turn 13, and now coming down the hill in towards turn 15, cascading all the way to the line. Is Yellow Geeson going to go quickest? No, goes third, 107.8, and to be honest, for a first lap, that is not a bad first lap at all.
Yeah, not bad at all. I was having a look to see if Johan was going to be starting a lap behind Yellow Geeson, but he's gone for an extra out lap. He didn't use any of his ERS, he's using up his fuel. Exactly what Charlie's doing as well, down towards turn number 4. He is backed off through the first sector as Dave Miles has retired in the pit lane, so he's going to be starting from 13th at this stage. I don't think Legend has got time to come out the pit lane, so that is him done as well out of this session. Yoram through that first sector, obviously, as you mentioned, down. Dan coming to the final couple of corners there is invalidated. Yellow Geeson, though, looks like he potentially could be going for another run. He's there in third. He's not on a lap at the minute, but I think he potentially could go for another run. He has got to save up a lot more EOS, though. He has got more time. He's got 50 seconds. Would he gain that up to 100%? Probably not. But if he gives them a good chance of EOS, then Yellow Geeson could perhaps go for another lap, as Yoram is on a run and Powdy is actually on a run, 16.8 in the first sector. Yep, Dan marginally up in Sector 1 as well. The big thing for Dan is obviously the lack of VRS that he has, and that will compromise him on the run to the line. But we're going to see if he can find time in the middle sector now.
Yeah, I'm above with Powdy coming through this middle sector split, and he's just about to come up toward the middle sector split, coming through turn 11, and then turn number 12. We'll flick that back to Dan when he reaches there. Powdy through the middle sector, 51-1. Big middle sector from Powdy. 2 tenths up, looking purple at the minute. Is it going to go as quick as Johan? Probably not. Is he going to go quicker than Dan? Probably so, but Dan responds in the middle sector with a purple sector of his own, as now Powdy on the run to the line with a 51-1 under his belt, goes third in the end, not actually ahead of Dan. Dan is 900ths up, nearly a 10th up, in fact, very low on ERS, and he's actually backed off to come in the pit lane. Very interesting call there. Yellow Geeson has done out of this session. Sidegate is done. Atlas Coppo's a 10th up through the first sector. Yorm is 400ths down out the first sector. He doesn't really need to do anything because, I mean, to be honest, he's going to be on pole position regardless.
Yeah, this will be a statement now from Yaham if he can find the time. He's a 10th half down, but yeah, I think Yaham's just going to peel off into the pits now. Atlas Copo, is he 2 on track? He's 2.5 tenths up.
He is 51.5. He could go ahead of Siege potentially with this lap. Could even go ahead of Charlie if he's lucky. There's Atlas Copo now on the run to the line. Is it around a 107? No, 108.1 just behind Charlie. Nearly crashes into the back of the McLaren there, coming across the line of Yoram. But in the end, it's Yoram out on top. It's Dan there in second. It's Parry there in third to McLaren 1-3. Perfect, though, from qualifying perspective for Yoram. And that is how you respond for picking up a 3-second penalty in America and then having that applied in Monza last week. That is how you respond back with pole position with a 107.6 and nearly 2 tenths clear of Dan. 3,000ths off 2 tenths per second clear of Dan, with Paddy there in third, with Yellow Geeson in fourth. Very close qualifying actually between the top 4 at the end of the day. Charlie in fifth, Atlas Copo there in sixth, Siege in seventh, Sidegate in eighth, Ronnie in ninth, Roygard top 10, a second covering the top 10, with Hulkster there in 11th, Preb with that 5-second penalty with Siege's crash. He's going to be started at the back of the field, so that means Day Miles and Legend, who set 10 laps on that Telesoft compound tyre, is starting in 13th. Preb will fortunately start down in 14th, unlike when Fernando Alonso picked up an engine penalty and he started 35 places down the grid.
Good old Fernando. Get the deck chairs out. That's what I say.
Yeah, deck chairs out, definitely. And hopefully the deck chairs are out in your bedrooms, in your living rooms, and wherever you may be watching this from, either on your phone, you've got this on in the background, which I hope you haven't if you are drivers. Looking, though, at the track, when the weather does come up, it looks pretty overcast, but normally, when it's like this, it should get sunnier as the race progresses. So if that is the case, it's probably going to be dry. And I spy with Preb, certainly, starting on a set of hard compound tyres, which immediately says to me it's going to be a dry race.
I mean, potentially, obviously, with the clouds are now, we never know which way they're going to go, but definitely very overcast, and this is going to be interesting. I do think we'll see everyone starting on the hards regardless.
Oh, actually, Preb's now gone for a set of medium compound tyres. Now, set of hards to a set of mediums is probably the better strategy to be on around here at the start of the race. Longer term, medium compound tyres second half of the race I think are going to be better. We'll see though what is going to happen as the 5 red lights now coming on here in Brazil. Round 10 of the championship here in TML F2. And it is, like down the way we go, and Dan gets a very good start, but Yoram is much quicker off the line. And actually, Dan's on the wall! Dan is in the wall! Unbelievably! Coming even before turn number 1, 50 yards he's made it before crashing in the wall. And Powdy now is under pressure. Oh, and actually, Powdy under pressure there from Charlie. Charlie backs off. There, and he's going to come screaming into track. God. Huge crash. Powdy out of the race. Just about. Day Miles, how was that not a safety car? Now it is. It's a safety car deployed out on track. Absolute drama early on in Brazil. Legend's got no front wing. Ronnie's got no front wing. Day Miles absolutely caught up in that as well. And Powdy spearing off track, coming out of turn number 3 through the centre S. Down in 14th. Yoram leads. Yellow Geeson in second. And Yellow Geeson, even before turn number 1, he might have just been handed the championship on an absolute silver platter.
Yeah, it looks like the mistakes from last week from Dan is carrying over into this week, and with that, potentially pretty much both hands for Yellow Geeson now we're on the Drivers' Championship.
Well, he got a good first phase of the start, and I commented on that. He was a little bit slow off the line, but I've never seen, have I? No, not on this game certainly, but on other games I have seen drivers do that, where they just snap the throttle, basically going through the gears. I think it was between 3rd and 4th gear is where he was trying to go through. And unfortunately for him, down there, down 11th position, he's got front wing damage. It's even worse from an Alfa Romeo perspective. Atlas Coppa was into the pit lane as well. He might have picked up damage and all that. Preb into the pit lane, Legend in, Dan in. Half of the field are into the pit lane at the end of one lap of... Not even a lap's worth of racing here in Brazil. Joram leads, Yellow Geese in 2nd, Sidegate there in 3rd. And all of these drivers pretty much are coming on for a set of hard compound tyres. Oh, mainly of them are going set of medium. Atlas Coppa did not have a front wing change, by the way. Neither did Preb. They're going tactical set of mediums.
Yep, a lot of those drivers started on the hard compound tyres, so we're seeing a lot of switches onto the mediums now. Obviously, once they bunch up to everyone, they really should have the grip advantage over the likes of Siege, Charlie and Yellow Gleason, but it's a case of, can everyone keep it clean on the restart now?
I mean, if they can't even keep it off clean off a first race start, then I think that just sets the tone for the rest of the night. Hopefully, though, we're going to be proven wrong with that fact. Atlas Coppa, though, down in 8th position, Preb there in 9th. They're on a set of fresher, set of medium compound tyres. The mediums are not going to get to the end of the race, but that could have been done potentially if it is going to be hot roaring sunshine about halfway through the race, because if Atlas Coppa and Preb, and there's the predicted pit stop strategy, it's lap 16 to 21 to set a hard compound of tyres, and that's exactly what I was going to come on to, the strategy. They would be on a set of hards from probably around lap 19, lap 20, I would think, to the end of the race. It's not a bad call, but are they really going to get 17, 18 laps on a set of mediums? They struggled to make 12 around here. Is actually Hilkser is into the pit lane as well, and he is actually going to do probably the polar opposite and go on a set of hard compound of tyres. I certainly see, I think, White Wall compound out in the garage. And yeah, White Wall compound of tyre. Hilkser onto the set of hards, and there was also, I think, a Red Bull potentially coming in the pit lane there. Red Bull was told to pit. I wonder if that was Preb potentially, if he's got any damage. There was the Red Bulls out on the pit lane, but the Ferrari in the end of Hilkser into the pit to stay Miles, also into the pit lane, and he is going to go, I'm assuming, to a set of hards as well.
Yeah, we probably will see...
front wing change.
Oh, it's another set of mediums.
Another set of mediums. Left side end plate damage on that front wing as well. The one that's just been replaced. Day Miles obviously had a spin, which we didn't see on camera. Day Miles had a spin somewhere out on track. Left side end plate damage. Unless that was caught up from the turn 1 collision, or turn 3 collision even on that one, I highly doubt he's made it a lap just to go into another set of medium compound tyres. That must have been a spin. And speaking of spins, Yellow Geeson has spun. Yellow Geeson has spun under the safety car. Think Siege had an illegal overtake there, which is why he's down in foot. But Yellow Geeson has a huge moment coming out of turn number 9. And Dan, all of a sudden, there's your calling card. You're back in it.
Yeah, what's called? One thing I was going to say regarding Die potential with that wing damage, I think he may have nipped the pit lane exit walls.
Yeah, maybe he's had a spin coming out of the pit lane exit.
Potentially, it's very easy to do. Obviously, the traction on the pit lane exit, very easy just to light up the rears and just nip the wall gates off a bit of front wing damage. So I assume that's probably what has happened today.
Yellow Geeson cheekily has just gone into AI mode just to type a comment in, which I don't think is allowed in the rules and regulations, by the way, but I think there's a potential loophole there, I think, so we'll let him off with it for tonight. He's went, oops. Yeah.
I hear this, what's the gap between him and Dan? I hear this, that's the point deduction for doing that.
That might be a point deduction. That might be his points that he gained last week, going right back in his face. And that is for being too cocky, basically, in qualifying and not putting the laps in and the effort really in as well, were absolutely needed. If I was the championship leader into any sort of league, I would be going out on track to try and secure the points and don't take it to the final round of the championship. It's almost like my impression of qualifying, and certainly my impression of the race so far, is Yellow Geeson, yes, he wants to try. He's probably got a lot more in him in terms of pace. Whether that pace, though, is going to be to anything remains to be seen.
Unfortunately, in terms of championships, and obviously I can't comment on that. I've never been in a drivers' championship battle, but just you want to get it sealed up. Like before you really do any like risky stuff, you want it sealed as everyone is now backing up, and Yellow Gleason's trying to draw alongside Charlie, potentially get the jump on him on the restart.
Potentially so, but of course he's got to wait until they get past the start-finish line to try and make that overtake. If he does make the overtake before that white line, then he'll be picking up a penalty as a result, and judging by his restart, he's not going to be alongside him at all, because Charlie has absolutely split the pack and split the front two, as Cygate now is on the back of Yoram. In the end, though, Roygod has got a brilliant start underneath the safety car to the inside line of turn number 1, tries to get the job done to the inside line on Siege, on the set of mediums, puts him up on the curb, beautiful move, and in the end, the Aston Martin's in the wall of Atlas Coppo. Roygod has a huge mistake as well, and Siege has had a huge mistake as well, coming through the centre S. Goodness me, drama here in Brazil early on. Dan is side by side nearly with Legend coming out through turn number 4 to see the Delago. Bjorn leads the way. Cygate in second. Charlie there in third. Huge moment there from Atlas Coppo in the wall. No filming, I think, on the car. Siege then had a moment coming on the inside curb. I think at turn number 3 is Dan. Speaking of the inside curb, is going to try and force it to the inside line on turn number 8. Should get the job done. Backs the Alpine off nearly to the curb. He's got to be careful, but he gets the job done, and that is pretty decent driving. Legend still there, but Dan is surely ahead now. He's up to 7. Very nice driving, and Ronnie's running in the background. My God.
It's absolutely chaotic here in Brazil. 5 laps in, how many spins have we seen so far?
It's like Bernie Eccleston's got the sprinklers out around here in Brazil so far. Charlie in the back of Cygate is looking to try and get the job done, but on settling down, finally after a lap's worth of racing at least, Yoram leads from Cygate in second, Charlie there in third, Siege is into the pit lane. Atlas Coppo actually didn't pick up any front wing damage, so Atlas Coppo continues on. Ronnie continues on as well after his spin, as Dan is on the back of now Preb, coming to the centre S at turn number 3, now running down the Retro Poster, down and towards the seat of the Largo at turn number 4. The Alfa Romeo pulls alongside the Red Bull, later on the break, surely gets the job done. Beautiful move by Dan. He's into 6th, and he really, Mike, is the only one at this stage who came in for that set of mediums when the safety car was in, when the safety car was out on track. He was the only one, really, I think, so far that's making any sort of ground in this race.
Yeah, Dan not wasting any time. He's trying to make up for that early mistake off the line, and all he's got standing between him and his championship rival is Roygod in front of him.
And if he makes light work of what he did with Legend and what he did with Preb, this should be quite light work as well. Day Miles has gone for spin there, coming out of turn number 10. He doesn't reset the track, which is good. The Welshman continues on there down in 12th. He'll be looking to try and keep his string of DNFs firmly in the past after a string of DNFs in many races this season here in TML F1, as Legend's attacking Preb in towards turn number 1. Tries to get the job done to the inside on the Alpine. Surely gets the job done. He does. Legend through and he's into 7th. Preb there in 8th. And Preb now put off line there slightly. Could give Powdy a bit of a look in down the Retro Poster. But in the end, Legend through and he's into 7th. And that made quite light work. And then Dan's outside of a second to Roygod. Roygod will have DRS enabled, I think, this lap around, as Dave Earls picks up the first 3-second penalty of the night. Dan is now just beginning to struggle, I think, in terms of the pace. I think Roygod is in that slipstream range and is just trying to force Dan outside of a second. It's 1.3 seconds. He'll be quicker through the corners, but he's going to have his work cut out if he wants to try and get on this DRS train.
Yeah, he needs to do it now in this middle sector if he wants any hope of sticking around. Because, well, see, the DRS down in towards turn 4 is not as bad as the DRS down in towards turn 1. He's going to lose a lot of time up this hill if he's not within a second.
Well, he's in the second now, 9/10 per second coming to the DRS detection. DRS, of course, is enabled this lap around, so he is within DRS range, which is good, and that is going to bring him a bit of confidence, hopefully, going forward. But look at Roygod. Roygod is quicker than him. Down straight in towards turn number 1, and Dan is on the back foot slightly. Speaking of on the back foot, Cygate's on the back foot, and he's got Charlie right behind him into turn number 4. I don't think Charlie's going to risk it down the inside line, but the Mercedes is going to try and get the move done on the AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri's a bit slow coming out of turn number 4. Now up the hill and towards Ferradura at turn number 6. And Charlie, I think, is just probably intent to just staying behind. He's doing exactly what we've seen him do in his 2 race wins this season, Mike. And that is save up ERS and not attack drivers that are inevitably going to try and be very aggressive towards you. He just wants to try and take his time And certainly, judging by Sidegate's mediums, Charlie's all over him.
Yeah, Charlie, he's doing the smart thing right now. He's got the ERS. He's waiting for a DRS now just to cruise past. And then he can try and chase down Johan. But the longer he stays behind Sidegate, the bigger that gap to Johan is becoming.
And look at Yellow Geeson as well. Yellow Geeson's going to be nowhere near as Charlie gets around the outside of the those boxes down and towards turn 1. It is very easy indeed. Almost on the Roval, the Daytona Daytona International Speedway there from Charlie. Takes the outer line and towards turn 1, gets the job done. He's through and he's into second. And now puts Sidegate now in between himself and Yellow Geeson, which is going to be very interesting. The Southern Hards clearly come into play at this early stage here with only really 4 or 5 laps worth of racing under the boot. And speaking of a spinner, Atlas Coppa was spun out of turn number 1.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Atlas Coppa tonight. It was looking very good in quality, but it's going to come into the race and the fuel is put into the car. It just hasn't got the same kind of pace.
My laptop is just beginning to restart itself, I think. I don't know what's going on. If my laptop does go off, then it's going to cause a bit of a problem for the stream. No, it's fine. We're good. We're cool. Sidegate third, Yellow Geeson at fourth, and Sidegate has a huge moment! My word, how has he kept that going in a straight line? TML is spun, coming out through turn number 8. But Sidegate is one very, very lucky man, and now Roygard is beginning to attack, and we could see 3 wide potentially in towards turn number 1 here. Charlie is clear of Sidegate. Yellow Geeson now looks the inside line of turn number 1. Roygard, I don't think is going to be close enough. Sidegate comes across on him slightly. Damars has been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. I'm assuming he's got the car beach coming through turn number 8. Yellow Geeson is having a really fight here on Sidegate. Sidegate doesn't want to make more than 2 moves. We saw this getting punished from Yellow Geeson's perspective in America. Roygard to the inside line. Should he going to put that Sidegate out on the grass? And he does. And Dan sneaks through as well. Where's Dan came from in all of this? To the outside line. Sidegate now up the hill and towards turn number 6. And Dan around the outside gets the job done. Sidegate's gone too hard on those mediums. And now Dan forces the move. Oh, and they get caught on each other coming through turn number 8, and Roygard just about holds sway. But Dan, if he wants to try and stay within title contention, A, don't go for moves that's not going to be yours, and B, just staying behind.
Yeah, that was a bit too risky. Looking at
oh my god! Oh. And now Sidegate's got the run on both of them. Coming through Jun Sao. Legend's going to be in this battle potentially as well. We could see 3 wide down here. Sidegate in towards turn 1. Oh, and that's just stupid. Trying to throw the idle needle through the middle. And Dan is up to 4th as a result. Roygard, I don't think, picked up any damage. But Sidegate has gone for a gap. Basically, that was always going to close. Through the middle, like Moses, part of the Red Sea. And in the end, that hasn't worked. And that's what happens when you get too aggressive.
Yeah, Sidegate now. Yeah, at the end of the day, when you're boxing like that, the best thing to do is like slightly back off and not try and weave to try and thread the needle.
Yeah, well, I think his initial attempt, I think, was to go to the inside line, and that got cut off, of course, by Roygard as Hiltzer was into the pit lane and speeds in and retires. Why show up and only do 11 laps on the belt before retiring in the pit lane? I don't get it, really, but Roygard there in 5th on the back of Dan. Legend there in 6th doing a good job as well. But Sidegate down there in 9th. Questionable with his movement and the braking as well. Down towards turn number 4, the lap before that contact was made. So Sidegate could be landing himself in the steward's room if he is not careful. Joram, by the way, all of this has led to a 2.7 second lead. Joram's absolutely controlling this race from the front. Charlie there in second on a set of hards, not really gaining. There is a yellow flag from Atlas Coppa there in the middle sector, and also for Hilter's AI, who was nonchalantly coming out the pit lane on the left-hand side, which is just stupid. Joram there leading the way, Charlie in second, Yellow Geeson there in third. And in the end, nobody getting the move done. Sidegate has, I think, gone too hard too early on those tyres, and he is down there in 9th position, and also getting put off by the AI car of Hilter.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't understand the reasoning for coming to the pits and retire, especially when there's points all the way down to last.
Yeah, and I mean, if drivers want to do, I know drivers have. Every single driver in this lobby, and as well as Yellow Geeson has a huge mistake, and now Dan opens up the opportunity through turn number 11. I thought there was a slight blister there on the rear left tyre as well from Yellow Geeson. Dan's now all over the back of him. This is championship defining potentially. Roygard, look at Roygard using up the EOS as well to try and get involved in this battle down in towards turn number 1 as Dan just going to stay behind Yellow Geeson. No, pulls to the inside line. Yellow Geeson will not defend, and Dan is through and he's into the back of him nearly. Oh my word. Dan into third, leads the way now in this battle. Yellow Geeson there in fourth is going to come back at him now down the Retro Poster. And is he going to lunge it to the inside line once again? You bet he will, but Dan comes across on him. Yellow Geeson though is too smart for the idea and gets back around the outside. And do you know what? If that was a second later, there would have been contact there. Yellow Geeson, smart driving in the end up to third, and a smart move from Dan to try and cover him off, even if he didn't have the pace.
Yeah, and...
Oh my word, that Roy got spun! Roy got spun in the background. Sorry to cut you off. He's just gone for a huge spin coming out of turn number 7. This race is spin defining currently out on track. Yoram leading Charlie in second. Charlie now beginning to get into Yoram's 2.4 second gap now, which is there. But Yellow Geeson in third, Dan in fourth is the main battle we're going to ride on board with, and this is going to be pretty interesting between them both.
I mean, I don't know if Dan will be happy or disappointed that Roygard lost the car there, because I think he would have preferred Roygard following him through and being that car in between them.
Here he comes, down to the inside line again, pulls alongside. Has he got the speed though in towards turn number 1? He's surely got the brakes and gets the job done. Catches the inside curb, gives Yellow Geeson a run through the centre S at 2. Now through down the Metro Poster in towards turn number 4 to see the Delago, and he goes again to the inside line this time. Dan was too late, I think, to come across this time, and Yellow Geeson back through, and he's into third. Dan with a really good switchback though, backs off the throttle. Yellow Geeson parked his car to perfection, and out the hill and towards turn number 6. This is what I wanted to see. Even from qualifying, this is what I wanted to see. This battle beginning to form out on track as Dan lunges it to the inside line. Yellow Geeson sees him coming, and Dan now has a huge snap coming out of turn number 7, now through the left-hand for turn number 8, and they're side by side coming into the middle sector through turn number 10. Dan, smart driving from Yellow Geeson, lets him go, and Dan through and he's into third, and look at what this has done. Legends now back in contention.
Yep,
oh, and Charlie's made a mistake, I think. Sorry to cut you off, I think Charlie's just made a mistake out of turn 11. 2.9 seconds the gap.
Yeah, I was going to say, Legend is looking at this ahead of him, and he's thinking, okay, I've got an opportunity at the podium for you.
He has indeed, Yellow Geeson on the back of Dan once again. Round 3 in a potential 12-round fight between these guys. He's going to do KSI, but if Injustice is Parody looks to the inside line and Preb in towards turn number 1. Oh, a little bit forceful there from Parody. Didn't really need to come across him on that, but it is job done. He would have got the move done anyways, but Parody through, and he's into sec. Here comes Yellow Geeson again on the back of Dan. Looks to the inside line, not getting the job done. Yoram leads Charlie in second, but Charlie, that mistake put him on the back foot, lost him 0.5 of a second. Yoram now back in control of the race, and Charlie at the minute has got 13% more EOS than Yoram, which around the track like this is not great.
Yellow Geeson with a snap through turn 7 and on the entry into turn 8. Potentially could have picked up a warning there as he got very close to the track limits, but that has dropped him a little bit off the back of Dan now, so he will have to use his ERS, and I think Dan might just be able to get away without using his ERS down this main street.
I don't know. About 0.7 per second, yeah. Dan there in third, Yellow Geeson there in fourth. It is going to remain, I think, as it is between these guys. It has finally calmed down out on track here in Brazil. Lap 16 out of 36 it took us to get there. Yoram though leading the way from Charlie there in second. Dan there in third, and Yoram spun! Coming out of turn number 3. Wrong car camera, for goodness sake, as Yoram has spun, coming out of turn number 3. And every single time that I commentate on him, he has a spin. That was his spin, out of the race lead. Charlie handed this race on a potential silver platter, but if Charlie makes another mistake, and a huge mistake, Dan and Yellow Geeson all of a sudden are in. And at this moment in time, as it stands, Yellow Geeson would be championship winner by... it'll be 32 points, I think. Or 33 points.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw out a little inkling of what potentially Dan might be looking at doing strategy-wise. I think he's going to stretch these mediums out and go for another set of mediums.
Do you think?
Yeah, because right now he's slightly ahead of Yellow-Gleason. If he pits now for a set of hards, he's given up track position on Yellow-Gleason. Yellow-Gleason will be on the quicker tyres come the end of the race. If he pits the same lap as Charlie and Yellow-Gleason and chucks on a fresh set of mediums as well, he may potentially have the pace to pull away from Yellow-Gleason.
He was on a set of hard compound tyres at the start of the race, wasn't he, Dan?
Yes, I believe he was. I'll quickly confirm.
I hope the race director doesn't crash on you or anything as you try and explore that. As Dan there in second, Yellow-Gleason in third.
Yep, he was.
He was. So, yeah, that could actually work. He could go on another set of medium compound tyres. And then Yellow-Gleason almost just picked up a 3-second penalty. To be honest, I looked at that. I saw that from the background of shot as I was running ball with Dan. That didn't really look like a 3-second penalty. He didn't really overextend track limits there. So if he wants to, he could put that in. We normally don't get rid of 3-second penalties. If he'll feel that's hard done by, I'm pretty sure 2 wheels were at least on the track when that happened. Yellow-Gleason might just have a case there to actually get that 3-second penalty removed.
Yeah, potentially. And also, there is another person that could be doing a similar strategy to what I just mentioned for Dan. That's Legend. He started on a set of soft compound tyres.
And Yoram as well is into the pit lane. So this is him in. I believe he might be another one that was on a set of hards at the start of the race. No, set of hards compound tyres on. Ignore me. He's onto a set of hards now. And he should hopefully get ahead of Roygard coming out of the pit lane. There's Roygard. And there is Yoram. Well, there's Yoram's pit crew going into the pit lane. But yeah, Yoram is miles ahead of Roygard. That's perfect for Yoram in terms of his pursuit for the front 3, at least in this race. Gap, though, between Charlie and Dan, 3.3 seconds. Coming down slightly. Dan has controlled his medium compound tyres very well indeed. He's bringing Yellow-Gleason along with him. And those are probably the 2 people that Charlie does not want on the back of him. The 2 championship leaders and the 3 title contenders. A front 3 currently out on track.
Yeah, but Charlie will be looking at that 3-second time penalty that Yellow-Gleason's got and thinking, come on, Legend, come on, Powdy, keep with him.
And Legend at the minute is not keeping with him at this stage. Down there in second, doing a good job. Yellow-Gleason there in third as all now begin to space out as Legend, in fact, is into the pit lane. So Legend into the pit lane. Gets on the limiter, in towards the pit box. The Red Bull pit box, by the way, is still there on the left-hand side. I've just noticed they are still wanting somebody to come in the pit lane. As Ronnie is actually into the pit lane.
Oh, there you go. There's the Red Bull pit crew. They were out for Ronnie, but Legend set in the medium compound tyres should come out just ahead of Yaham as well, I think.
Miles ahead. Miles ahead of Yoram. Yoram's going to be about 3 seconds behind, coming out the pit lane, I think. Oh, it's that Legend, I think, nearly cracked the wall there on the exit of the pit lane. But yeah, it's just under 3 seconds the gap. There is a yellow flag in sector 2. That's parity round.
It's never easy for the McLarens. It's always one thing after another.
It never is. You gotta roll with London buses and 2 come at once, and unfortunately in terms of spins, 2 have came at once in terms of Yoram and Paddy in this race. It's so unfortunate because the McLarens have done a phenomenal job in qualifying first and third. Dan, however, thought was coming in the pit lane there slightly. Yellow-Gleason on the back of him. Might just want to apply a bit of pressure. He's got a bit more EOS compared to Dan. Dan, by the way, as Tam was mentioned in the chat there, Dan is on 16% of EOS. Yellow-Gleason on 30%. So Yellow-Gleason 14% more in terms of EOS compared to Dan. Perfect if you're in a championship battle. Perfect if you want to wrap up the championship.
Yeah, obviously Dan is using ERS to try and keep ahead of Yellow-Gleason. Yellow-Gleason's just using DRS to keep with Dan. He doesn't really need to push on his ERS, just to the fact that at this stage those hards are better than the mediums.
They are better than the medium compound tyres indeed, and yeah, the set of hards certainly coming to play, I think, in terms of the second half. Tam saying the McLaren drivers cost themselves the constructors with the amount of spins that they've had over the season. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agreeing. They've been really consistent, but inconsistent. And I don't know how you can get 2 drivers that have been really consistent throughout the season and then be inconsistent at the same time. Weird one. Answers on a postcard. As Charlie's into the pit lane from the lead.
Yeah, but I think we'll see Dan come in as well. Yellow-Gleason stays out.
Overcut? Overcut? Has to be. Has to be. This is not a bad play, actually, from Yellow-Gleason. Overcut is quite potent, especially come the second half of the race, and especially come the final, 12, 13 laps. He stays out an extra 2 or 3 laps. He has got a chance of actually winning this race now.
Well, let's keep an eye on Legend as well, because Legend setting the fastest lap. He's coming through turn 1 right now. It's going to be close between him and Dan.
Dan's ahead. Comfortably. But, comfortably? He's going to be ahead, is what I will say. Yeah, Dan's going to be ahead of Legend coming out of the pit lane. Not by much. 0.5 of a second. In fact, it's going to be less than that. But Legend, with the warmer tyres, has caught him at the wrong place at the wrong time, I think, out on track. And this is going to bring Yoram back into play there as well in 6th. And he is really sticking it down. He's got his head down. He's really gunning for it, I think, out on track now in terms of trying to pick up this front 3. Dan, though, 4th position out on track. Yellow Geeson coming through John South at turn number 12. Him not using up any arrests suggests to me he is doing what I would do in this stage, and that is to...
Oh, is that Yaham around? Yes, Yaham's gone again.
Turn number 9 this time. Oh, and the Red Bull nearly forced off track there as well. Treb just about lucky to stay out the wall. Yom came across and rejoining the track there. No fault of his own, don't get me wrong. It's a very difficult corner to come off track on. Yoram there in 7th. I was saying, by the way, Yellow Geeson is staying out. The gap between Yellow Geeson and Dan is 18.8 seconds. It's around a 21 second pit stop, if I'm not mistaken, around here in Brazil. So therefore, Yellow Geeson, is he gaining time on Dan? I think he might be.
No, Dan is closing in on Yellow Geeson, and honestly, if it wasn't for that spin for Yaham, Yellow Geeson would be under threat from Yaham.
Oh, he would. He would. And actually, Yoram and Preb were side by side there in towards turn number 4, just for a slight moment. The McLaren there in 7th, Preb there in 8th, up the hill in towards turn number 6 of Ferradura. Yellow Geeson, however, coming through the Beazle boxes. Is he going to go and stay out again? No, into the pits. Into the pit lane for Yellow Geeson. This is crucial now. Gets the car stopped. 40 mile an hour on the stoppage into the white line. I like the word stoppage there. He could come out. If he's lucky, he'll come up behind Legend and within DRS range. That is where I'm thinking he'll come out. And Powdy also into the pit lane. Now brings him in really good contention here. Yellow Geeson coming out of the pit lane. It's a much deeper exit out of turn number 1. And then, of course, the pit lane is better coming out of turn 2 and 3 on the outside of the track, and that is why Dan and Legend have got the gap. Yellow Geeson, though, is within 2.5 seconds, I think, coming out of the pit lane. Yep, 2.5 seconds coming out of the pit lane. Roy God's not behind him. That's perfect from Yellow Geeson's perspective.
And the question is now, obviously, Legend will have DRS on Dan. It's a question of, is Yellow Geeson quicker than Dan here?
Judging by what we saw first half, I don't know. I don't know. As Legend is obviously backing off. He hasn't got the pace compared to Dan, which means Yellow Geeson is probably going to be quicker than Legend and perhaps Dan at the same time as well. The gap is 3.7 seconds, roughly around that sort of area at this stage. Charlie, by the way, leads by 4 seconds the gap, and he is using up his ERS till his little heart is content as he comes down through 10.15. There's another yellow flag, and there's Preb round coming through the middle sector. Charlie with a 109.909 backs in the new fastest lap of the race. Down there in second, Legend in third, Yellow Geeson in fourth. And look at Legend's ERS as well. 8% of ERS, down on 19% of ERS. Yellow Geeson, 68% of ERS. He's doing everything that he can at this stage to overhaul the gap, apart from get within the gap.
Yeah, Yellow Geeson has the ERS to bring this gap down. But the thing is, once he does it, he'll need to save up the ERS once again.
Powdy to the inside line on Siege, sorry to cut you off, gets the job done, and he's in the 7th very comfortably indeed there from Powdy. There was a yellow flag, and that's Atlas Copa round. I got excited, I thought it was Charlie for a second.
Well, no safety car, and Charlie will be pleased that there's no safety car, because that's one thing that Charlie and Yellow Geeson will most likely not want to see is a safety car, because that 3-second time penalty could come back to haunt Yellow Geeson, and Charlie does not want Dan right on his rear wing.
Yellow Geeson though, look at it, purple middle sector, using up all of that ERS. He wants to try and hold something back, I think, down in towards turn number 1. He's doing a fantastic job at this stage. 1.7 seconds is the gap between himself and Legend. About 5 tenths quicker than Charlie on the last lap around, on the fastest laps. Yellow Geeson is flying now out on track, and he has got to try and take this now one off, one on. He's got to save up a bit of ERS, just try and lift and coast. He inevitably has got the pace, as Prab is through on Siege in towards turn number 1 there as well on the mini-map, and I think Ronnie has got to follow through on Cygate in towards turn number 1 as well, and in the end Cygate just locks up on the brakes in towards turn number 1. Ronnie through and he's into 10, Cygate there in 11, Charlie D's 5.1 seconds, Dan in 2nd, Legend in 3rd, and dare I say it, Mike, I think Dan could perhaps be in a little bit of trouble here going into the final 10 laps.
Yeah, potentially. It looks like Charlie is pulling away from Dan as well, so it doesn't look like Dan's got the pace to match Charlie here. And obviously Yellow Geeson closing in on Legend. The gap between Dan and Yellow Geeson, though, hasn't really moved around too much.
Oh, it has. It has. It's 2.4 seconds. Last time I saw that last lap around was about 3 seconds. He's gained 6 tenths per second.
Oh no, that's when he used all his ERS. This lap he hasn't been using his ERS much.
Yeah. He's still gained time though. He's still gained like, what, 2 tenths per second maybe? And I mean, coming down to turn number 1 and 2 as well, Yellow Geeson doing a great job. He eyes up Legend down in towards turn number 4. Obviously he's not going to be close enough, but Charlie leads the way, 5.5 seconds, controlling the race throughout. And is he on, potentially, 3rd week I'm back here in TML F2, 3rd potential race win for Charlie? I seem to be his go-to man, I think, at this stage. If he wanted me to commentate on every single race and every single league he's on, just so he can get a bit of form, I think. But Charlie is doing a fantastic job. He's controlled the race throughout, down there in 2nd, Legend there in 3rd. But here comes Yellow Geeson, the championship... the current championship leader, champion-elect, you could call him potentially as well. As it stands, as Legend makes a mistake coming out of turn number 10, as it stands, Dan, at this stage, would be doing enough to go into the final round of the championship. It'll be an 8-point gain, but Yellow Geeson, if he gains his position past Legend and then pulls out 3 seconds, then it is going to be all nip and tuck going into the final round, the final, 9 laps of the race. But as it stands, Dan would score 25 points, Yellow Geeson would score 17 points. Yellow Geeson needs this move.
Yeah, he does, and he understands it. He's using his ERS, he's closing in on Legend. He's going to look to the inside. Oh. Is he going to be able to get it done? Oh,
beautiful.
The wheel on the exit, but Yellow Geeson with a fantastic move there. But here comes Legend trying to come back at him up the hill.
Oh. I thought he was going to... To be fair, I thought he was going to hold around the outside there from Legend, and he locks up in towards turn number 8, just trying to do that as well. But Yellow Geeson now through and he's into 3rd, and he needed that move, and I absolutely called it in commentary. He absolutely needed that move. He got that move. Legend now is probably going to drop back more than 3 seconds away. So Yellow Geeson, as it stands, if that 3-second penalty is, of course... to stay there, and Legend is 3 seconds behind him, of course, which is inevitably going to be likely, I think, as the race goes on. Yellow Geeson, as it stands, would be championship winner right now, but we've still got 8 laps of racing left, and anything can happen in that time.
Yeah, Yellow Geeson through says he's 1.7 off the back of Dan, 1.1 ahead of Legend. I think the only thing that could stop Yellow Geeson building that 3-second gap would be a safety car.
Yeah, it would be. It would be maybe from the likes of Yoram, as he's looking to get the job done on Roygard, down in towards turn number 4, Decided Delago. Damiles has left the session. Ronnie has spun coming out of turn number 3. I was literally going to say, somebody further down the field could cause a safety car. Ronnie has spun coming out of turn number 3 at Centre S. And I think he's got back going again without picking up any front wing damage. Just confirm. Let's have a look. As we've got a lovely rear diffuser shot right now. Coming through turn number 4. Yeah, he's got no front wing damage. It was just a pure spin.
Yeah,
Not too bad.
Legend lost 6 tenths this lap to Yellow Geeson, so it looks like he's definitely going to be dropping out that 3-second window, which plus the championship, he has one hand on it, and he has 4 of his 5 fingers on the championship as well. It would.
And all he needs that now on that championship is a little pinky that could just take him all the way to the championship victory here in TML F2, which I think, to be fair, he has approached this the right way. Roygod's just picked up a 3-second penalty. He's still hunting down Yoram, actually, down in towards turn number 4. He's doing a fantastic job while doing this as well. Is the Alpine man on the back of the McLaren. It's nearly 9 o'clock, by the way, and we are nearly done here in Brazil, even though we've had a safety car and many spins in this race. Somehow it's nearly 9 o'clock, and somehow we're on lap 29 and 36 going on to lap 30. It's been one of the quickest races, I think, of the whole season here in Brazil. Charlie looks pretty much set on, I think, for P1, but Dan and Yellow-Gieson, second and third. If you were in Yellow-Gieson's shoes, Mike, would you attack Dan and bring on a battle for that potential second position?
If I was Yellow-Gieson and I had let's say a 4-second gap to Legend, I would probably try and get past Dan. Maybe try and force him into a mistake, maybe for him to pick up a 3-second time penalty as well. But if Legend is on that teetering edge of the 3-second, there is no need to battle.
Oh, I thought Roygod was going to get the job done. Siege just spun. Coming out of turn number 12. Was he going to puncture? Yeah, front right puncture. Knew that. Siege into the pit lane. 23 lap all mediums do not take you that far, my friend. As he's just realised, right front puncture, I should say, on the car, and he's there in 11th position, and he will be ahead of Atlas Copel quite comfortably when he comes into the pit lane. Parry's trying to attack Roygod in the meantime for 6th and 7th position. Legend, to be fair, is doing a good job here. 2.5 seconds. He's not losing that much time. His tyres are going to come back to life before the end of the race. Yellow-Gieson's stuck in a bit of no man's land. It could still work Legend's way. However, 2.7, 2.8 seconds, it looks pretty much now set on that Yellow-Gieson's going to be more than 3 seconds clear.
Yeah, I think Roygod is very scared right now because he is in a McLaren sandwich, and the McLarens have a habit of losing the car, and I think Roygod is actually fearing for his life right now.
They are feeling for his life right now. If you're tuning in, by the way, for Esports Challenge Cup, that is now live on the League Racing TV, which I forgot to plug at the start of the stream, but it is live now. Nathan Richards taking you through the action, of course. Richie to PSGL F2 viewers, as Roygod is on the back of Yoram, running down in towards turn number 4, Desida de Largo. The Alpine tries to pull alongside the McLaren. The McLaren, though, getting the job done. Still in P5. Roygod there in 2nd. Paddy there in 7th. Paddy on that set of mediums is going to be fresher towards the end of the race. Whether or not he can try and get the move done remains to be seen, as Charlie there leads from Dan in 2nd. Yellow-Gieson 3rd. Paddy was looking to the inside line there. Yellow-Gieson's getting closer to Dan as well. That middle sector really seems to be Yellow-Gieson's big strong point. He's 6 cents off on his personal best lap. But Yellow-Gieson now, all of a sudden, this pace is beginning to come to him. Has Dan gone too hard on that set of mediums? Yellow-Gieson realises that. ERS now used up down the straight just to gain him. And is he going to gain within a second? He's pretty much on the borderline down in towards turn number 1. Gets us on the brakes and gets us control out of turn 2 and 3. He might stand a chance. He's just outside of DRS range now. But in a lap's time, he's going to be within DRS range. And he's going to be there on the back of Dan. And Dan has got to see what's coming.
Yeah, now, obviously you mentioned about Yellow-Gieson, should he try and battle Dan? If I'm Dan, I'm trying to make this as hard as possible. I'm trying to back up Yellow-Gieson into Legend.
Yeah, and I mean, Legend's only going one way at this stage. He's only going backwards in 4, 3.7 seconds. Dan and Yellow-Gieson, though, could battle to an extent, and they could battle very aggressively, like we saw with Hamilton and Verstappen, of course, in real life. If that battle happens, and if it's like what we saw with Verstappen and Hamilton, Yellow-Gieson and Dan could potentially be in trouble from Legend still in behind. Legend also, with Atlas Copel in the mix, could pick up a bit of DRS range as well. 4.5 seconds, though. He's clearly made some sort of mistake in the middle sector, because Yellow-Gieson has just not gained 0.8 per second out of nothing.
Yeah, but I think Legend might have just got a little bit too much onto a curb somewhere, but Yellow-Gieson now within DRS range of Dan, and this is the championship battle right here. Is only 4 more laps left in Brazil. Yellow-Gieson is looking at winning the Drivers' Championship here.
Yeah, it'll be 33 points. Parody, by the way, is now looking on the back of Roygaard. This could get quite tactical between the two McLarens. Joram looks to the outside line, just pulls him alongside. Paddy almost got a slight tap there from a fake car that was in behind him. He had a huge moment coming through midway through the corner at turn number 4. But Paddy there on the back of Roygaard doing a good job. Roygaard there in 6, Paddy there in 7, and Paddy again looks the inside line. He fakes it, but he made a mistake though, I think, in doing that. Yellow Geeson though on the back of Dan. As it stands, he's wrapping up the championship. I think he'll want to get this move done and want to get that 3-second penalty potentially outside of Dan's range. He has got the pace to do it. Final 3 laps of the race. We're probably not going to get any safety cars until the end now. Charlie leads the way, Dan in 2nd, Yellow Geeson there in 3rd, and Yellow Geeson all over the back as Atlas Copo is into the fight then and takes Legend's potential DRS range home. He's going to get completely out the window.
Yeah, but now Yellow Geeson's on the back of Dan. Let's have a look at this gap to Legend and see if it goes down in this middle sector.
Oh. Yellow Geeson got very close then towards turn number 4 to see the logo. Roygaard on the back of Joram. Joram doing a great job. Roygaard though does not have any ERS left. If I was in his shoes right now, I'd be saving up that ERS rather than attacking the driver ahead, because I'd be worried about the car in behind. Powdy, who's probably got fresher tyres still at this stage of the race. Charlie though, 7 seconds the gap. Controlling it very nicely. Dan in 2nd. He is now getting the block on Yellow Geeson there in 3rd. It's almost like a VPN block. But Dan has provided, and Dan has a huge moment. Was that tactical? I don't know if that was tactical, if that was a mistake. It looked to me as if it was a mistake. But I think, as you said, it's tactical. And Dan now back within DRS range. Yellow Geeson, no DRS to fight. Dan now pulls the inside line at turn number 1. Whether that was a fluke or that was just by pure chance, Dan's through and he's into 2nd. Yellow Geeson into 3rd. And Dan... Yellow Geeson has a huge mistake and now puts him now on the back foot. He's got more ERS. He needs to use up that ERS now. But it's put him on the back foot for the final 2 laps. Dan, Yellow Geeson, this battle for the championship is going all the way down to the limits of the track. Yellow Geeson, by the way, if he picks up another penalty, he's in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, Legend gained about half a second because of what just went on there. See, Legend now beginning to lose a bit of time in this middle sector, but Yellow Geeson is pushing down.
Dan is literally blocking him. He is doing the Montana tactic around here, and that is literally blocking the car as much as possible. And he wants to get Yellow Geeson back within 3-second range to Yellow Geeson, to Legend, sorry. But Yellow Geeson now was too smart for the idea. He saw what was coming, and now he needs to launch an attack, probably down the hill and towards turn number 4. I don't think he's going to be close enough. He could not launch this at all, even because he will still be in championship winning predicament. Final lap of the race. Charlie leads by nearly 10 seconds. Dan in 2nd. Yellow Geeson in 3rd. Surely Yellow Geeson's going to go for this move.
Yeah, he's got.
Driver's instinct will be to go for this move. He pulls the outside line. He switches to the inside line. He dummies him. And that is a champion's move. Surely in towards turn number 4. Dan hangs it around the outside though. They make contact through turn number 4 to see the logo. Yellow Geeson though comes out on top just purely on the nature of the corner. Yellow Geeson through and he's into 2nd. Dan there in 3rd. Dan now needs to try and think of something to get Legend back within 3 seconds. It's not over yet.
No, absolutely not. The one thing for Dan is he will have DRS. Actually, no, this is the final lap.
It is the final lap of the race. Charlie. Oh Charlie's coming through. John Sow, bless him, as he comes through the left-hander 13 and Sabidos boxes, running down the hill. Dan's not close enough to Yellow Geese, and that'll be 2nd and 3rd. Charlie takes the win. A 3rd race win here in TML F2 by an absolute street in the end. Yellow Geeson to the line. He will finish 3rd, but he is going to be your TML F2 champion for this season. Congratulations to Yellow Geeson. Comes across the line. Dan finishes ahead of him on the day. Yellow Geeson there in 3rd. Legend there in 4th. Joram and Roy got to have a drag race to the line here. The Alpine is surely going to get him. And Joram realised that. And Joram is probably thinking, yeah, let Parody through. Not bad that. And Parody actually, Joram and Roygaard, that was quite smart from Joram in the end. Not sure if he picked up a puncture or anything. It wasn't. It was just pure tactics, I think, at the end of the day, and that was nice, I think, from the McLarens. 5th and 6th, they want to try and claim as many points as possible. They were going to get the positions anyways, no matter how they finished. So I get there in 9th, Ronnie there in 10th. My word, Charlie takes the win. Dan there in second, but Yellow Geeson finishing in third is your TML F2 champion for Season 9.
Yeah, and honestly, throughout the course of the season, he's just been so consistent. He's always been up there. Honestly, a thoroughly well-deserved championship from Yellow Geeson.
It was. Yoram saying again, haha, in the comment section, I can feel his frustration, I can feel his pain. He did not deserve any of that luck again tonight. It's just the consistency at the end of the day, and who can come out on top. Brazil absolutely threw everything at the drivers tonight. The drivers coped remarkably well. And in the end, when he comes up, Charlie nonchalantly walks the top step of the podium in a sort of fashion where it's almost as if he's been overshadowed by the championship winner. In Yellow Geeson there in third, Charlie did a phenomenal job. He took the race by the scruff of the neck. Basically, when Dan spun, coming into turn 1, he knew he was probably on for the race win, and Charlie controlled the race throughout. Did a fantastic job. And takes the race win. His third race of the win of the season. And that battle for second in the championship is still on.
Yeah, and Charlie definitely going to gain some points here on Dan. I believe Yellow Geeson picked up the fastest lap also, so...
Did he?
I think...
Ooh.
Yeah, I believe so.
No, he didn't. Siege won a 9.267.
Okay, I stand corrected. I'll go back to my box.
Yeah, it's a 5-point swing in the end. From Dan to Yellow Geeson. It was a 38-point gap coming into tonight. It's a 33-point gap going into the final race of the season. So therefore, it's mathematically impossible for Dan to win the championship. Mathematically impossible for Charlie to win the championship. However, as it stands, Charlie goes into the final race of the season behind Dan. I think it is 9 points, the gap for P2.
Is the Constructors wrapped up?
Constructors, I believe, is wrapped up, if I'm not mistaken. Williams, third. McLaren, fifth and sixth. Hang on. Constructors. Let me grasp. It was 73 points coming in tonight. Yellow Geeson's just picked up third. So that will be 20 points. McLaren, fifth and sixth. That will be 29. 9-point gap. Mercedes, was second in the championship. Goodness me, what am I going on about? Mercedes, though, outscoring Williams. Yeah, goes into the final... Does it go into the final race of the season? I don't think it does. I think they've secured it by a couple of points.
I think there's 10 points swing between Charlie and Yellow Geeson, and then Siege getting 11 for fastest lap.
Yeah. And Siege... Oh, yeah, Siege's points as well, then 11. So, yeah, Mercedes... Ooh... 9 points, 10 points, 30 points, 40 points. Yellow Geeson on 20 to 20-point swing. 20-point swing to Mercedes to Williams. 73 points, a 20-point swing, 53 points. Mathematically, it's still on going into next week.
Okay, so the driver's wrapped up, but we still have the constructors still in play for Bahrain.
It will be interesting in Bahrain as well. Of course, it's probably going to go the Williams way, but you never know. Charlie takes the win, though, from Dan in second. Yellow Geeson in third. Legend, by the way. 13th up to 4th. Did a phenomenal job in that race. Paddy there in 5th with Yoram there in 6th. The king of unluckiness this season. Roy God in 7th with Preb in 8th. Sygate in 9th. Ronnie in 10th. Siege in 11th. Atlas Copel there in 12th. Did finish a lap down, I believe. Hilkser there in 13th. And Day Miles in the end. The king of DNFs out on track. Instead got disqualified this race around and finishes there down in 14th, even though classes him as a DNF. Just shy of 45 minutes that race took. I'm going to go quickly blue screen, and let's try and get our top 3 in, and indeed our drivers champion in as well, and hopefully they will all be there and ready and willing to have an invite coming their way. It's Dan, it is Yellow Geeson and Charlie, isn't it? Oh, I cannot add one or more players, apparently. It is Dan that I can't add, because I do not have him on my friends list, so I'm going to add him. I'll add him to my friends list while we get the drivers in, as it's giving me the cannot load error when you try and type in somebody's name on PS4, which is why I should get a PS5, but I'm not. I'm not. Come on, man, just blooming work, for goodness sake. I just want to send a friend request. I don't want to send a friend request to somebody random. Getting there in the end. Right, Ellery Dan. Oh, he's actually joined. What? Somebody must have you added him?
No, I didn't do nothing.
You didn't do nothing. Somebody has added him in the background then, surely.
I did.
You did, fantastic. Saves me trying to send a friend request and trying to send everything through. Anyways, we can speak though to the man who finished in P1 in the end, and that was Charlie. And Charlie, 3 races since I have been in away, of course, in WR Console Tier 1. Every week I come back, you seem to win every single week. Talk us through it, because it was, again, a dominant performance.
Yeah. I don't know how many times that's going to end up happening. Hopefully you're here next week, so then it can happen again. But, yeah, qualifying was quite disappointing, to be honest, because I think my best lap round here in qualifying was like a 107.2. Wasn't even in the 107s on the softs, and the softs I just couldn't find any grip whatsoever. I felt like I was best on the mediums, to be honest, in this race. The first lap was a bit chaotic because my connection went boom again, as it always does, so it led into a bit of a collision with Powdy, which is why he lost a lot of positions. But the game ghosted him, so I assumed that he was obviously not going to be able to make any contact with me. But it turned out that clearly I wasn't ghosted on his end, so that was definitely a bit unfortunate for him. But then after that, obviously, I don't know what happened with Dan, but I knew that he was at the back at one point, and then when Yarham spun, I was like, this guy, he can't catch a break. But I thought Dan started on the mediums, but no, he started on hard, so when I realised that he still needed to pit, I was a little bit worried, but then when I got on those mediums, I just felt so much better and a lot more quicker, so I was very confident.
Yeah, very confident indeed, and that confidence, I think, seemed to shine through, certainly, in that second half of the race. And obviously with Dan and Yellow Geeson pretty much out of the picture, you pretty much had every single lap to yourself. Was it a bit boring being out in front? Were you expecting Dan and Yellow Geeson just to come at you?
To be honest, I saw that Yellow was starting to go quicker than me, and I thought, honestly, I thought Dan would have just let Yellow through and then tried to get him, drag him along. I think Dan played a bit of a DRS game though at one point, so I think I saw him slow down in the final sector to get DRS. And then he obviously re-overtook him, so not something that I'd kind of want to see, because I was watching their battle on the mini-map every now and then, because I was getting bored, to be honest. And then obviously when Atlas Scopo spun, I thought he was going to be ahead of me and I was finally going to overtake him, but no, he was just stopped on track. So yeah, the second half of the race was a little bit boring, but at least it resulted into something good.
It was a little bit boring. I'll come on to that Dan and Yellow Geeson battle when we interview them, of course, a little bit later on. You take as well, I believe, a 10-point, a 5-point gap actually into Bahrain, of course, next week, with Dan being behind you there in second. The gap, I believe, is 9 points going into next week. What's your sole focus for Bahrain?
Just consistency and to not get any penalties, because when I done FRL pre-season there Tuesday night, I was actually managing to keep pace with Felix 1, so that's boosted my confidence a lot. So I reckon as long as I keep that pace from that track going into next week, then I reckon I can definitely fight for the win again and possibly get that runners up in the championship. But I heard that Dan was a little bit quick on Bahrain, so as long as if I win and he gets second, then he'd still win, he'd still beat me. But even if I don't get second, I wouldn't complain, because runners up in the championship isn't a lot. It would be nice to be ahead of somebody else in the standings.
Yeah, definitely so. But yeah, congratulations on that race win. Mike, I'm going to go quickly across to you. Any questions?
I mean, he had a boring race. He was on his own. The one thing I was going to ask is, like, obviously, when you're on your own, concentration that can really play a key factor, because you can easily lose it. How did you manage to keep your concentration throughout the race on your own?
Just made sure to not go off the track. Then I did have a bit of a half spin at one point, which I almost pooed my pants there a little bit. But luckily I managed to just catch the car, which I thought I was going to spin, but luckily just slowed down just enough to keep on the track. But yeah, just not really a lot to say for staying concentrated. I just stayed silent and just made sure I'd done everything right.
It's not really a lot of questions I can ask because it was a boring race for you, but it's probably one that you'd rather have, considering obviously last week and that was a bit chaotic, and this week nice, cool, calm, no one around you.
Well, I mean, it could have been cool and calm last week if I didn't have that spin whilst leaning and if I didn't disconnect.
And if your AI didn't hit you again.
Yeah.
It's only because I wasn't here last week. That's why he spun, and then I've came back this week, and then he's absolutely trounced everyone by 10 seconds out on track. It is a different side of Charlie, and I'm liking this side of Charlie as well. Going into the final round in Bahrain. Go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah, you too.
You're very welcome indeed. As we now move on to the man who, in the end, finished in P2, and that was Mr. Ellery Dan. And Dan, let's just talk us through what happened through turn 11 with Yellow Geeson. Was that tactical, or was that a bit of a half spin?
Well, now I knew that Yellow had a 3-second penalty, so I thought maybe I can hold him up or something that he got before in the end, but that didn't work. So yeah, basically hope for the best in Bahrain that I can go for P2.
Yeah, I think that P2 was certainly well deserved, given the race that you had with Yellow Geeson, and as Yellow pointed out there in the chat as well in YouTube, you are only 15 years of age, and same age I think as Charlie as well. So that gives you, I think, a lot of confidence because you're being so young. That gives you a lot of confidence, I think, moving forward, even into future seasons in TML.
Yeah, I mean, if I reduce the spins a bit, it would be nice, because yeah, the start on lap 1 wasn't great with the start. I spun or something because I saw them spear off in the distance, and I wanted to get through with that, but yeah, that didn't work. Yeah, but I got a bit of luck with the safety car, because I think Paulius and Charlie crashed or something. So yeah, that was a bit lucky.
Yeah, very lucky indeed. Yellow Geeson also spun on the safety car, unfortunately, which I did catch on stream, and he obviously dropped down a few positions as well. And ended up in 3rd position there, of course, in the end. What's your plan going into Bahrain? Are you going to give anything away to Charlie, because it's considering he's still here?
Well, just qualifying P1 and then win. That's like the goal, I think. But yeah, we'll see.
We will see indeed, and that will be a very good fight, I've got to say, going into Bahrain. Go and enjoy your evening, Dan.
Yeah, you too.
You are very welcome indeed, and now we can move on to the man who, more importantly, finished this race in P3, but even more importantly, wrapped up the TML F2 Drivers' Championship. It is absolute official. It is Yellow Geeson, and Yellow, in the end, that race was not easy to wrap up the championship with. Dan gave you a very good fight. Talk us through it.
I think during qualifying I was a bit too confident that I was going to win the championship, so I thought I would not even put in a lap and do some overtaking, and looking at the lap times at the qualifying, I thought I could bring home a P5, but at the end I was thinking I want to race at the front from the beginning, because the guys lately have been very quick, so I thought if I want to have a chance to have a good race, then I have to start at front. So I just gave it all my that lap in qualifying, and yeah, started P3. Then I got a little bit lucky with the start, of course. Dan turning left, I don't know what his GPS was saying, but the wrong way, and then in the safety car I was still, I think, a little bit too confident. I was trying to warm up the tires, and it has a little bit of, not banking, but it goes a little bit downhill, so yeah, I think that's the reason why I lost the car at that point of the race.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before on the safety car as well. It has happened to the best of drivers, especially coming into that little bump through turn number 9 on the exit of the curb. I think it really catches you out and it just sends the car in completely the wrong direction. You lost positions, of course, as a result of that. Talk us through that battle with Dan, though, because it was getting pretty tactical between you both, but I'll tell you what, it was a very fair fight. I can definitely guarantee you that.
Yeah, great. Well, before the race, we obviously we were in a party, and I really like racing with Dan. He's young, but you know, I see myself in him. When I was starting out, I made, probably you remember, but I made a lot of mistakes and I did a lot of crashes, and I got a little bit more consistent every season. And I think this is the most consistent season I've ever had. Like, I've only been outside of the top 3, well, yeah, once. So, and then surprised by that, and also with the battle with Dan. Before the race, we also battled a little bit, and so we knew a little bit what we were going to do, like defense-wise, where he would go or what he would do. And yeah, I didn't expect him to snatch the DRS before the first straight, but I know that the second straight is powerful, and his light was flashing, so I knew I had a chance. So at the last few laps, I messed up one of the exits, and I had to, you know, try it on the last lap, which yeah, worked obviously. But I think there was more to lose for him than for me, and yeah, great battle with him.
Yeah, and of course you have wrapped up the Drivers' Championship as well. It's a shame, really, we didn't give our sponsorship for Next Level Racing, as I've just seen an incident actually on the Challenge Cup that is live right now. But we didn't actually sign any rig deals, unfortunately. Otherwise, you would have been getting a rig, I think, at this point for winning the championship in TML F2. But just talk us through your season overall, because as you said there, you've never been outside the top 3 bar once, I think. And that just comes to show the level of consistency and the almost the stranglehold I think you've had over TML F2 this season.
Yeah, in the beginning, I don't know why, but I always start out with too much confidence, and then, you know, this dude called Dan was absolutely showing me the way in Saudi Arabia, and then, you know, I think that was the best race of the season for me. And he also, I think for him it's between this race and the first race, but yeah, that race has been awesome, and from that point on now I had to really you know, do my best to keep up with him, and we were level on pace. He was a little bit better in qualifying, and you know, I've never really known, like, he makes a bit more mistakes than I do, and yeah, it shows that confidence. I'm sorry, consistency is important, and I said it to other guys as well who spun out. Obviously, it's a shame that, I mean, if Yarham would have not spun once this season, I think he could have challenged for the title, definitely, because he's just so much quicker than me. And yeah, and also for Charlie, at the end of the season he was going rapid.
It just comes to show as well, the people that were saying, oh, we should promote Dan to TML F1. Look what happened to TML F1 at the end of the day. It got cancelled from last week, and Dan, I think, to be fair, I don't think would have been up there with the likes of Jensen, with the likes of Tom as the season went on. So that decision was purely my base, and it's fantastic to watch because we got a very, very good battle throughout the season as a result of it. And that's probably one of the best things I am proud of from TML F2 continuing on this fantastic battle that you and Dan have had, of course, out on track. Mike, I'm not forgetting about you. Any questions?
I have 2 questions. One, what happened in the safety car for you to spin?
What do you mean? This race, when I spun, what happened?
Yeah, what happened in the safety car?
Yeah, so I was warming up my tires and I started to drift a little bit. I was like, you know, I was so tempted to drift a little bit more, and then yeah, I think it's not intrusive thoughts, I wouldn't say that, but I think I caught myself lacking a little bit. It was a genuine mistake, and also Dan at that point was way back, so I'm not sure if he thought I would do something like that on purpose, you know, to be a bit thoughtful. But no, it was a genuine mistake, and I just pushed the pedal a bit too much, and yeah, I was a little bit shocked with myself. You can probably hear it in my stream as well, and I'm glad that it was only 2 positions. So could have been way more. I could have spun all around and then would have been last.
Yeah, and obviously the second question, obviously the championship now all wrapped up. What's the mindset now going into Bahrain?
I think a bit the same as before qualifying today, but I wouldn't start last next week. I'll just, try and I would say have some fun with the boys at front, and I think there's only pressure for the two driving for runner-up, but I think Yaram wants to prove himself that he can do a race without spinning and dominating and winning and all that, and I think Charlie, he wants to get P2, and Dan is also, I think, wanting P2, so it's going to be a bit intense at the front, and I don't want to miss that. I want to mix in and have some fun with them.
You want to play spoiler in it, do you? Alright, well, that's all the questions I got. James?
That is it for me as well. Of course, Bahrain is now the focus for certainly Charlie and Dan in terms of that battle. Certainly the focus, I think, of the last to first challenge for you. You absolutely deserve it. Have a cold one on me. Go and enjoy your evening. As that is it for tonight. I was expecting a Yellow Geese in response there from that. But there we go. That is... Did you not hear what I said?
I didn't.
Have a cold one on me. Go and enjoy your evening.
Oh yeah, sure. Give me one.
Oh well, I would if I had any, but yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's 9:30, so it's a Friday night. Don't blame you. Do not blame me if you do want to do that at all. But that round
I'm gonna
is
have one.
You can have one if you're old enough. You can have one.
I'm 21.
I mean, Charlie's 15 and he drinks.
Oh yeah, well I started when I was 15, and yeah.
Hey.
I'd say
15 is a bit
Charlie.
young, guys. Hey, 15 is a bit young.
Definitely a bit young. And I think before we get kicked off on YouTube, we're gonna end off the stream here. I think for tonight.
I thought you ended it.
No, I haven't ended it. No, we are. But yeah, that is it for tonight for TML F2. We've got one more round, of course, to come next week for Bahrain. If you do want more action tonight, Esports Challenge Cup on the PC is live. Also an update about the PS side for Esports Challenge Cup for EML. That has been moved forward due to Esports Challenges. It will now happen on, I believe, the 5th and the 12th of April. So only 10 days time until you see the best PS teams going at it, of course, out on track. It is a pure charity event. It is going to be for UNHCR supporting the war, of course, in Ukraine and everyone that has been affected by that. We know so many, I personally know so many people that have been affected by that as well, from contacting my girlfriend, and it is a really good cause to try and get involved with. So if you do want to watch that 5th and 12th of April, I'm going to be on the commentary team. I believe Alex the G is going to be alongside me in the commentary box for one of the races. There is 3 races every single night for the 2 weeks that we do the event, so 6 races in total, 3 on first night and then 3 on the week after, which is going to be fantastic to watch out for and get involved, because UNHCR and of course the people of Ukraine really do need our support at this very, very troubling time in Europe. But we are going to round it off here for TML F2. Big thank you, of course, to Mr. Alvin and Mike for joining me in the commentary box, and of course the Yellow Geese and Dan and Charlie for the interviews. Much appreciated, of course, as always. We are going to end it off here, and we'll be back, of course, next week for the P2 finale between Dan and Charlie. 9 points separating them going into next week, providing there's no stewards reports, of course. 9 points, of course, going into next week. So, for myself, from everyone here in the commentary box, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.